Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzi, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be going over is Julio Rodriguez and analyzing his underwhelming season for the Seattle Mariners. After that, we'll be going into some Mets pitching news, Tim Anderson being DFA'd by the Miami Marlins, and the Futures Games roster for both the American League and the National League. Now, before we do all that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers to ensure that your question does get read in the air. Please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show for today. All right, so as I talked about, our first segment is going to be about Julio Rodriguez and analyzing the season. So let's get into it. Now, Julio Rodriguez bursted onto the scene a few years ago, being one of the top prospects in baseball. I mean, I remember how hyped up this guy was, and it was really for a good reason. He was very hyped up coming out of, being an international signee from the Mariners. Was that way since they signed him. Just bursted his way all through the minor leagues. Hit great, was doing fantastic, and really became someone that Mariners fans look towards as a potential face of the franchise, a future of the franchise for a Mariners franchise and team that really didn't really have an identity, hadn't really had a true superstar since Ken Griffey Jr. left and Ichiro Suzuki left. So when Julio Rodriguez did end up coming up back in 2022, he was fantastic. I mean, he played in 132 games. His WAR ended up being 5.7, and he was just a fantastic player. Was everything that the Mariners wanted out of him. Looked like the next future superstar of the MLB, and rightly so. I mean, again, he was doing just absolutely fantastic and incredible. And the Mariners rewarded him for it. They gave out one of the most unique contracts in baseball in probably sports history, giving him a huge 15-year contract with multiple different options and different kinds of things and incentives. But really what it all meant was Julio Rodriguez got a huge contract that would make him a Seattle Mariner for a long time. And that's exactly what he wanted, and that's exactly what the team wanted. So coming up to the major leagues, he looked like a future superstar, and that's continued to be the case. He had a really good season last year, but this year it's been a different story. I mean, you look at his stats currently, he has his weighted runs created plus at an 84. This was really rough. His OPS is at 625, which is also very rough. I mean, you look at some other stats as well. His K percentage is up after that. Again, his OPS is really rough. His ISO is not even at .100, which is awful. So right now, the Mariners are doing great themselves. I mean, they're ahead in the AL West, but at the same time, Julio Rodriguez isn't the reason for it. He's their best player by far, I'd say, especially their best position player, but really he has not been the reason why they have done so well, and there's been a lot of struggles going around with him, and a lot of Mariners fans, I can tell, are getting frustrated. I see a lot of time on social media that they really have no answer at this point for Julio and why he is doing so poorly. So I did want to talk here today about why I think he is doing so poorly, and also if it's unluckiness, if it genuinely is just him regressing, if there's something else to it, and just talk about Julio in general. So yeah, I think the first thing we have to look at, again, is his stats. I mean, again, 84 weighted runs created plus, his OPS at 625, which is really rough. And I think with that OPS, his weighted runs created plus probably wouldn't have been much higher, and it probably would have been in the 70s or 60s in the end of the season. So still, 84 at this point is really horrible. You look at his contract, he has 12 years, $209 million left on it. So if I'm a Mariners fan or a Mariners front office person, am I worried? Yeah. I mean, at this point, you look at how huge that contract is, and you look at how many years are left, you look at how he's performing, it's definitely something you want to get figured out sooner rather than later. And also, this Mariners team trying to win. It would be different if he was having a rough season and the Mariners were rebuilding and retooling. No, this Mariners team is trying to win, and having your star player perform this underwhelmingly is really rough. They are still playing well, but again, imagine how much better this team would play if Julio is playing up to his standards. So I think the first thing we have to ask is, again, what is behind these struggles? And I think there are a few things. Now, I think when you look at his stats pretty clearly, you can see that it's not like he's getting just insanely unlucky, and this will all end. I mean, you look first of all at his BABIP, which really isn't doing that bad. His batting average on balls in play, it's basically the same as last year. Last year was 330. This year it's 326, which is a perfectly average BABIP, especially for a guy like Rodriguez who is fast and young, so he can beat out those infield ground balls, those balls that are on the ground or something like that. So it's not exactly like he's getting it's not exactly like he's getting unlucky. It's the same as last year when he did very well. You also look at his other hitting stats. His mean, it's really, again, there's nothing that really stands out as significantly like, wow, he is really, really getting unlucky. I mean, his barrel percentage is down from last year, so that's showing something else there. His hard hit percentage is down 5% from last year, which is significant. You look also at his WOBA and xWOBA. It's not a huge differential. WOBA is 280 as expected. WOBA is 330. So it's not a huge differential, but it is something. But still, I'm not saying that's the big reason why he is underperforming. But overall, I think one thing we have to look at is pitchers and pitch selection. And Julio's now been in the major leagues for 3 years, been a star in those 3 years, finished high in MVP voting last year. And I think pitchers are finally realizing what to do and how to pitch him. You look at Baseball Savant, for example, for Julio Rodriguez's stats, you can very much see that pitchers are pitching him very different. And one of the things is fastballs. Julio crushes fastballs. I mean, you look at his stats all throughout his career, throughout the minor leagues as well, he hits the fastball well. And pitchers now know, okay, we're not going to throw him fastballs. And I think that's a big reason why he is performing as he is. They're throwing him a lot of off-speed pitches, a lot of stuff that moves more than a fastball, and when Julio isn't getting the fastball, he's a significantly different hitter than when he is. So that is something that Julio is going to have to adjust to and is going to have to do better at. Now, he's always going to be a better fastball hitter than an off-speed pitcher. That's obvious. But you have to be able to at least make a competitive at bat when someone throws you off speed, to be able to not have the pitcher make it so easy. I mean, right now, if I'm a pitcher, I'm not throwing Julio any fastballs whatsoever. Even if I'm a fastball pitcher, even if I'm a Roldis Chapman, I'm not throwing him fastballs, okay? I'm throwing as much off speed as I can, and I'm not going away from it because he hasn't shown he can hit it. No matter what kind of pitch you are, he's just not shown he can hit it. So that is a problem, I'd say. I mean, this is a guy who you have as the face of your franchise, is getting paid a significant amount of money for a long time. And again, it's not like the Mariners are a big market team. It's not like they can just throw money around like whenever they want. It's not like the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, someone like that. They only give out these contracts maybe once every 10 years, if I'm being generous. So having your star player have these issues in year 3 is something that I think needs to be talked about. So that's really one thing I think Julio has to work on. Now, I'm not saying that that's the entire problem. There are probably a lot of other things as well. I'm sure mentally there's something going on, because when you're a star player like Julio, you probably beat yourself up once you're not hitting as well, and you probably get low in confidence. So I really think Julio just needs a hot streak. I think he needs 1 to 2 weeks where he's just crushing the baseball to get his confidence back, because you watch the bats right now, he's definitely not the same person. He still is an intimidating person to face at the plate, but he's just not the same Julio that we saw throughout the minor leagues, that we saw as a top prospect, that we saw throughout his first 2 years in the big leagues. So I think if I'm a Mariners fan and I'm Julio, I really need him to just be confident again, be himself, and hit the off-speed pitches. Just hit the off-speed pitches, man. I mean, it's easy for me to say because I talk about baseball. I don't play baseball. But still, that's really what I think the big problem is here. I think he just has to start hitting those off-speed pitches, has to be able to adjust to pitchers, because it's not the minor leagues anymore. This is the big leagues. You're playing in a significant division as well, playing the defending world champion Rangers, playing the Astros, playing with all the other great AL teams as well. So he needs to be able to adjust to big league pitchers and adjust to these kind of things. So I think that is really what has to work with Julio right now. And look, should the Mariners be worried long term? Yes and no. No, because I think this will eventually be solved by Julio. The Mariners have a great organization as well. I'm sure they'll help the problem out as well. We have all the tools in the world nowadays for baseball to be able to help hitters like this. But at the same time, having a guy like this on such a huge contract where there really is no out for the next 10 to 11, 12 years, having these problems in year 3 in a significant time in your franchise is a problem that I think is going to worry you. I just don't know how long term, because I still believe in Julio. I still believe in his talent. I still believe in how good he is. So I don't really think there's anything long term, like 2-3 years from now, that you should be worried about. This year maybe, but I still trust in Julio. I still trust in his talent. I trust the Mariners organization to be able to fix him, quote unquote. He's not broken, but he does need some fine tuning, I'd say. Now, this Mariners team is still fantastic. I mean, right now you look at them in the AL West. You look at where they are currently. I mean, they are ahead of the Astros. They have really been in a stronghold for this for around a month now. They are currently 3 games ahead of the Astros, but at the same time, the Astros are doing much better as of recently. Really started off the season rough, but are doing a lot better. And you need Julio to step it up, because if you lose that grip in the AL West, which could definitely happen, people are going to look to your star player as to why he's not performing. So, Mariners still a great team. Imagine how great they'll be when Julio gets back to his form. I mean, pretty scary, I'd say, with that pitching as well. So they also have the possibility to add a big bat at the deadline, which I've talked about before. I love their farm system. I think if any team is going to add a big bat, it is probably going to be them. So, yeah, definitely a lot to like still with this Mariners team. Again, imagine how good they'll be when Julio does start performing again. So, yeah, did want to come in here, talk about Julio Rodriguez and his struggles with the Seattle Mariners and just what's going on there. And, just giving my thoughts on it and what I think he can use to improve. So, yeah, that is our first segment here, talking about Julio Rodriguez and his struggles with the Seattle Mariners. We'll be going into our second segment here, which is going to be talking about the Mets and some recent pitching news with them. They did have some news about 3 of their pitchers. Talking about them, you can see them flash on the screen over there. So, yeah, we talk about that, and we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.